New week, same old shit. But at least we might have some good news. I highly doubt it because once again they're floating the idea out there, hoping that you don't really pay too much attention to the current phrasing because it could change, of course, in the following couple of days. But according to Anthony Fauci, remember, don't look at any of those emails. He's still the most trusted doctor in, frankly, the entire world. And he says that the U.S. likely won't go into lockdown over COVID-19 Delta variant. That's right. Now, but you remember, this motherfucker is a legendary, okay, with his flip-flop abilities. He says that the CDC didn't flip-flop on masking and vaccine guidance, but speaking for himself, yeah, not so much the case. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease Chief Dr. Anthony Fauci on August 1st signaled that the White House doesn't want to re-implement COVID-19 lockdowns. It's weird how an elected official is making big policy decisions that affect the entirety of the United States, if not because pretty much every other country just mimics off of whoever moves first, the entire world. So it's good that right now, today, as of time of recording, about 4:15 on August 2nd, we're not heading into a lockdown, sort of. There has been speculation that lockdowns and stay-at-home orders may be reimposed after President Joe Biden told reporters on July 30th that the United States, in all probability, will see more lockdowns. Yeah, it's just going to come at the different state levels. It's going to come in the same repeat offender places. You know the names. Let's run down a couple. California with Gavin Newsom, okay? He wants to instill as much fear as he possibly can right ahead of his recall election. Give out everybody free money, at least for the time being. Keep everybody's minds occupied until he has to run again for re-election in 2022. So, and then, of course, up there in New York, because there's still some people alive in long-term care facilities that Cuomo just would love to fucking knock off. Same with Whitmer, same with Wolf, Michigan and Pennsylvania, for those who are keeping track of such records. But you can see that happening in those certain places. And then you have Ron DeSantis down there in Florida. Don't have the article pulled up, but you can take my word for it, or you can just look it up for yourself. He passed an executive order banning any mask mandates and then also banning any sort of lockdowns. So it's going to be interesting because you see that the way that the narrative is going to shift. They'll tell you that right now, oh, don't worry, no lockdowns are going to be coming. All of the experts said that. We're going to be following the science on this one. Really? Where have we heard that before? Yeah, which is, well, you know what, to be fair, it's also good news too, because, okay, there's going to be no more lockdowns, but the certain states and certain municipalities are going to be able to do whatever they want. And in DC, I talked about it last week or something, and we discussed the fact that Washington, as of, I think it was 5 a.m. Saturday morning, local time, the entirety of Washington, D.C. is going under a full mask mandate for indoor events, okay, regardless of vaccination status. Now, you have Muriel Bowser, who implemented such procedures, seen maskless at events before and after implementing new mask policies. Well, if it was before, that's fine, because the science allowed her to determine whatever date she wanted it to be, but I guess she didn't quite check the entirety of her schedule to figure out that she still had another event to get to, so shucks, you really should have pushed it off to Monday morning. Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser appeared to be celebrating at an event maskless hours before her own policy and mandated masks for citizens in the district was put into effect. It must have an exemption for elected officials. Or otherwise she'll just get on television and just make up some kind of a fucking apology as she goes. One picture that was uploaded to social media shows that the Democratic mayor on July 30th, surrounded by a large crowd of people, none of whom appear to be wearing masks, at a gathering 2 days prior to her 49th birthday. You know what, to be fair, she doesn't look that bad for 49. Black don't crack. A second picture shows her next to award-winning celebrity comedian Dave Chappelle. Why is he there? Unless he's trying to get a piece. It's knowing Dave Chappelle, it's probably what it is. We're the comedy icon and two notable district venues over the weekend, according to the statement by Bowser's office. DC is open. Sort of. Depends on your definition of open. You can physically go into a place. but then you're accosted and tossed out like a fucking town drunkard if you're not wearing your face diaper. So open for interpretation. And we are so proud to welcome home Dave Chappelle, Bowser said. Washingtonians have waited months to be able to enjoy shows like this one again, and it makes it even sweeter to be able to reopen one of our favorite venues with a performance from one of the world's most beloved comedians and a DC native. Depends on what his position for the Orange Man is for the day. So if he's blaming him, he's beloved. If he's saying just give him a chance, like he did right after the election in 2016, people want him lynched. But the left is fickle, so don't fucking too much worry about that. But what about other municipalities with strict masking guidance? Chicago. We could run down how many people were shot over the weekend. It's double digits. I don't know how many people died, but at least 10 people were shot because it's Chicago. And the weekend. And Lollapalooza apparently happened. I don't know who was there. I know who wasn't, but that's another video for the end of the day, I suppose. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot defends maskless Lollapalooza, but demands masks on public transportation because that's inside. And science, especially when the people are shoulder to shoulder just like that. That is a picture from the day, so I don't see any masks. Maybe one there potentially, but it's a blurry-ish picture, so it's really tough to make heads or tails of that. But even if COVID wasn't spread there were several legs and a whole bunch of chlamydia that was, so don't worry about it. Amid concerns that Lollapalooza would turn into a super spreader event, don't worry. It was outside. They can use that excuse now, but when you were talking about the confirmation party for ACB, or was the appointment party? Whatever, fat-ass Christie went sideways through the door in order to attend, and then he almost died because, COVID is so deadly. No, it's because you have a fucking body fat index that doubles as the amount of weeks in a year and a belt size that reads equator. That's alright. He's already had it. He's got the jab again, so if he gets one of those breakthrough cases, they can do a blood test, figure out that it's ragu, and he'll be able to just get along fine. Try to work in more fat jokes at Christie's expense in the coming days because it's always fun. We spent a tremendous amount of time working with the Lolla folks. That's not a real sentence anybody should say that's over the age of 6. To make sure that we incentivize people to get vaccinated. Not your job. It should just be available for people to get. Oh, wait, it already is. But then again, it's not about just making resources available for people in order for them to do great things. It's telling them what they have to do in order to see how much more you can get people to do. Lollapalooza, which kicked off Thursday and ran through Sunday, was expected to draw more than 100,000 attendees. Based on that snapshot, it looks like they probably succeeded. Good on them. I'm sure the gate was great. Videos of one of the events went viral, showed an enormous crowd of fans packed together in what appeared to be Chicago's Grant Park. Yeah, looked like a total pisser. I don't know who attended. All I know is what attended, and you could still fit all of their brains in a thimble and then have a drop for water. So even if any of those young kids do get infected, most of them are already got the jab anyways, and they're young. We know the numbers, and Lollapalooza is still a young person's game, okay? It's been running since at least the early 90s, so. Oh, but take a look at this. Multiple outlets reported Lightfoot herself was seen mingling maskless at Lollapalooza event with celebrities. Oh, it's so nice. Like, how does anybody put any credence behind the words that Lori Lightfoot says? Every single time she tells the population to do something, she's photographed with somebody famous. She's photographed outside just holding a big rally for the celebration of Joe Biden's totally legitimate 100% election, and that it was an important time to do that, and therefore, I don't know, COVID just took a break because it was so excited that the Orange Man was gone totally legitimately. Despite the festivals, that's a tough word, vaccination requirements, some believe, okay, the events could still cause the coronavirus to spread due to overcrowded conditions on public transportations to and from the festival, as well as lax on-site vaccine verification. CBS 2 Chicago reported on Chicago Transit Authority trains that were packed with maskless festival goers. Oh my god, in direct violation with the city's orders. Oh my fucking aching heart. Somebody please grab the pearls. Make sure there's a pillow on the couch so when you fall backwards you don't knock your head and render your mask askew. I'm sure we'll be talking about it next weekend, but Barry Obama is supposed to be throwing a big old 60 50th birthday out there in Chicago, and it's going to be well attended. You'd have to think that Lori Lightfoot's going to be getting the call to go down there. They don't have enough corrupt people from Chicago in order to fit diversity quotas. But frankly, like, you guys know my opinion on this stuff. Wear one if you want, get the jab if you want, but stop telling people what they can and can't do and then start gatekeeping off events because you haven't got the jab, or you aren't wearing a mask, or you can't produce a fucking negative vaccine test on fucking demand. Pushback is starting, though. It's starting stateside. We've seen it all over Europe and in other places as well, but it's finally starting to happen on this side, because I would love to go back to whatever normal is. We still got to wade through the Biden presidency for as long as he's going to stick around, and hopefully we don't have to wade through a Kamala Harris administration, because that would be a fate worse than the pandemic. But as you know, in like the past few days or whatever, we've talked about the fact that there are certain healthcare workers that have to get the jab regardless, okay? No questions asked, otherwise they get fired, and somehow it's constitutional because fact checkers said it was so. But healthcare workers protest vaccine mandate. I'm not going to be forced to take on... I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, so it's there, you can read it. It starts with an EX and then it ends with a vaccine, and it's something you can do in a lab. How about that? Interesting. Hundreds, including healthcare workers, gathered in Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh my God, that's just like Charlottesville. That's where all the right-wing people go. Oh my God, bring your tiki torches. On Sunday to protest Atrium Health's and Novant Health's recent announcement requiring workers to be vaccinated against the Chinese coronavirus. One registered nurse said she's not doing the same thing that was quoted. Atrium Health and Novant Health, two of the biggest healthcare systems in the city, announced last month that the staff will be required to get the jab against the China virus. Oh, chalk up another corporation that is, along with Walmart, Walt Disney, the Shake Shack family of restaurants, federal government. Yeah, it's starting to mount. It's starting to be a lot more prevalent than it isn't, and that's worrying, because you'd love to see at least one of these fucking mediocre corporations step up and say, we would like for you to get the jab, but then at the same time, we're not going to force anything. That would be perfectly reasonable, but we do not live in reasonable times. With the new Delta variant being far more potent than the original virus. I seen a clip, and again, this is not at all medical advice, and this could be totally wrong. That's why I didn't pull it up or anything. They're trying to push off the idea that this new Delta variant is as transmissible, is as contagious as fucking chickenpox. Okay? Okay? Well, I got chickenpox as a kid, so does that, if we're going to be doing the correlation study, is that one of those transitive properties that makes the jump as well? So, questions, more questions. We view the vaccine no differently than our requirement of for our teammates. Yeah, we're all in this together, right? Unless you aren't, then fuck off. To get an annual flu shot. What? They're forcing people to get the flu shot too? Again, more problems. As well as be vaccinated for measles, chickenpox, and other infectious diseases. Again, this is where you get people who can kind of at least tacitly agree. It's like, okay, you're a healthcare provider, you shouldn't be spreading it to other people, so getting the jab or a jab just makes sense. But that's where they get you, because then you give up that first 6 inches and then you end up with 12 inches deep. Anyways, healthcare system told WBTV that all our teammates, including remote workers, physicians, medical residents, faculty, fellows, trainees, contractors, I was going to say conductors, but I don't think a healthcare company runs trains. They do, but for very different classification. Students, visiting students, members of the medical staff, temporary workers, and volunteer staff must be fully vaccinated or have an approved medical or religious exemption. They have until October 30th to do so. That's when it seems like everybody is starting to drop the hammer. Right in time for flu season, so it's going to be really interesting. Very, very interesting, in fact. So just keep that one in mind, because when we eventually roll around to the holiday season again and everybody starts to get antsy on the left and on Twitter, the people that, you know, they'll just bitch about the fucking sun rising in the morning. So as soon as numbers and cases start to go up, they'll never cite deaths or anything. All of a sudden, masks will just become the most potent weapon they have against the virus right now, even though literally everybody will be jabbed. So that'll be a fun spin session, because I still don't see this ending anytime soon. So please enjoy the rest of your summer. Our freedom is in danger. Like I said, the fucking protests, the people who are actually on the ground are out there protesting this stuff, and it's only happening in Europe right now. Okay, big protests in London. Okay, March for Freedom, I think that's what it called. Hundreds of thousands of people that are out there. Happening in France, still keeps happening in Paris, still keeps happening all over Italy. When are we gonna fight back? Are we gonna have to get some kind of a talk about, oh, we're gonna make you get the jab? No, they're gonna be vaccine passports. When are people going to get ignited? I don't know. I'm getting antsy. I don't like not knowing, but then again, at the same time, knowing, it's kind of like the sword of Damocles. It's just right over your head. You know that they don't want to give up any power, and you know that that could just drop at any day. So you just try to be one of the good ones that are out there, and you just want to follow the rules, right? And then maybe they'll eat you last, but guess what? They're still going to fucking eat you. So I don't know how much longer it's going to take. I can sense it coming, though. I can sense it coming because, oh, they're finding more cases and the rhetoric is starting to start. And especially in Florida, they're really trying to make a strong push. It's like, oh, there's all these thousands of cases that are happening in unregulated Florida. And the government shut everything down to begin with and don't mind all the bumps and the ebbs and flows in the case and the datas or anything. But yeah, Florida, ooh, they've been doing something consistently bad, so we need to punish them. And the only solution to lack of government is more government because it's worked so well in the other states that are out there. Let's talk about the Olympics. It won't be much about the actual Olympics itself. It's mostly just turned into, hey, look at me, I'm an activist, and I just happened to show up and get a medal. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.